Councilman Mark Cuthbertson, and I'd like to welcome you to the 10th Annual Huntington Awards, where we celebrate our very talented high school students here in Huntington.
Yes, indeed, and I'm Councilwoman Joan Cergol, and I'm delighted to be here with you, Mark, to help present these wonderful awards.
Yeah, I mean, to say this year's Huntington Awards ceremony is a departure from prior years is probably a colossal understatement.
It certainly is, Mark. This coronavirus really upended our big plans to recognize these gifted students, many of whom will be future stars who've hailed from Huntington.
Yeah, this year actually marks the 10th anniversary of the Huntingtonies.
Wow, I can't believe it's been 10 years.
I know, can you believe it, Joan? You know, the idea for the awards actually sprung up from a good friend of mine, Joyce Ianciello. We were at a recognition night for the Half Hollow Hills Little League on the field at Citi Field. And she came up to me while we were there and excited to be on the field. And she told me that they had this award show in Babylon where they recognized the high school performances. And she said, it's crazy. Why don't we do this in Huntington?
And the rest, they say, is history. And you know, we've actually got a special message from Joyce.
Hello, and welcome to the 10th Annual Huntingtonies. I'm Joyce Ianciello. This year's circumstances has forced us to come together in a different way, but the spirit is the same, a celebration of theatrical arts by our high school students in the town of Huntington. Theater is live. No two performances are the same.
To mark the special anniversary, we also have with us 3 of the original winners from our very first Huntingtonies who'll be co-hosting the show with us.
So exciting. We are so very lucky to have with us Matt Kunkle and brothers Danny and Tom Meglio, all alumni of Northport High School. Move over, Edie Falco. You've got company.
Gentlemen, before we get into the awards, let's catch up a bit, and maybe we could start with you, Matt. I see you're now a director. Tell us a little bit about that. What are your current projects?
Sure. So before we all got hit with COVID, I was working on a new off-Broadway musical called Trevor, the musical, which is based on the independent short film Trevor and the Trevor Project. So I was working as a part of the directing team for that as the assistant. And then as a director myself, I'm currently still in the process of planning and prepping for a production of The Sound of Music at a theater called the Muni in St. Louis. And the Muni is my favorite place to work in the whole country because it's unlike any theater elsewhere because it's a complete outdoor theater and it seats 11,000 people a night. And the stage is 80 feet long by 60 feet deep. So it's musicals on like an opera scale. And they do 7 shows in 8 weeks in a summer. And so they'll do 7 performances of one show, and then the next night they'll tech the next show, and then the night after that, the second show will open and so forth. So that's what I'm still in the process of planning, and they've made changes in their season to accommodate health restrictions and all of that. So we're currently still on track to be doing that in July, but as things change each day, we'll see what happens. And then I'm prepping a production of a musical version of the hit movie An Officer and a Gentleman, which we're going to tour around the country next year in 2021. So that's what's currently in the hopper at the moment as in my directing career.
That's super cool, Matt. Mark, what do you think about an outdoor theater in Huntington?
One that seats 11,000 people would be terrific. I don't know where we would find the space, but that's pretty cool.
I think we're actually putting in a small amphitheater as part of the Manor-Field Armory project. So we'll be able to do some outdoor plays and performances anyway. So Matt, what do you like most about directing, and does your acting experience help you as a director?
Yeah, well, I was never a great performer, and I think I had the harsh reality of like realizing in high school, I was like, okay, I'm fine at this, but it's not something that I want to pursue for the rest of my life. As you'll see, people like Tom and Danny are monumentally better than I am. So I kind of stumbled on directing as something I did in high school. And I loved it because I was able to be a part of the ensemble, but just in a different function. Because my kind of philosophy of directing is you're still a part of the acting ensemble of the piece. You're just in the outside position as an observer to help shape and form the piece. So that's what I love about directing, and collaborating with performers to help them achieve the best work possible. And my acting experience definitely helps my directing role, because I know how to talk and work with performers, having been a performer, and I know what I liked of directors who I worked with when I was a performer. And so I always kind of think of directing as like a nice big melting pot, that I take little bits of everybody that I've worked with as an actor, as an assistant, as an associate, and I put it into a nice little pot, and I put my own kind of flair and style into that as well. And that's what I consider my aesthetic as a director.
So Matt, is it fair to say the acting career is over?
The acting career is definitely over. I have no desire to return to it, but there are moments, I will say, when if I'm an assistant or an associate in a rehearsal room where an actor's in a costume fitting, where I am the one who gets to stand in and be that actor for a moment. There's been many times where I have filled in for some big old celebrities, and it's just little Lois May. I remember doing a production of Candide at Carnegie Hall, and John Lithgow was our lead, and he wasn't with us for the first 2 days of rehearsal. So I got to be John Lithgow for a little bit, and lo is to behold that when he arrived, amazing. I couldn't do him justice, but it was a fun experience.
That is amazing. I love those stories. So is it fair to say that winning a Hunting Tony changed your life?
I mean, absolutely. I think, you know, when the Hunting Tonys were formed, it was kind of this surreal experience to know that we creating theater were going to be acknowledged, much like sports were acknowledged. You know, they always say that, you know, winning a Tony Award changes one's life. And I think the same can go for a Hunting Tony Award. I mean, it really gave me the courage and the determination that, like, okay, I could do this for the rest of my life. And you know, it instilled a fire in me that has definitely carried through my entire career.
You know, that's great, Matt. And one of the things I say every year is, you know, we look in the newspaper, Newsday dedicates 4 to 6 pages every day to high school sports, and never anything to our drama and the awards. So it's really, it is a special moment for us and a great way to recognize it. I'm so glad you were a part of it. Let's go on to the brothers Meglio, and just Tom and Danny. I'm pronouncing that right?
You are. You're pronouncing the traditional Italian way, Meglio. All my voice teachers, they tell me Meglio, like opera singer.
It's not wrong. Yeah.
So what have you all been up to?
I'll go. Danny, do you want to go first? Or do you want me to go first? I'll go first.
Yeah.
Go first. So first of all, I want to thank you for having us. This is so special. I agree with you. Not enough coverage in our town for the arts. I think this is so important. So I really appreciate that this comes around every year. After high school, after the Hunting Tonys, I went off to school in Cincinnati. I got a degree in musical theater at the Cincinnati Conservatory of Music. It's the oldest musical theater program in the country, though I think they tend to all say that they're the oldest. But CCM, I was there for 4 years. I trained in musical theater, and then afterward, the culmination of most musical theater programs is a showcase in which you present yourself for agents and casting directors in New York City with your class. I was in a class of 18 people. It's the same people for 4 years. We were the first class of CCM to ever make it out with all of our students. No one left the program or was terminated.
Really?
After school at CCM, I went out to California to do a summer of performance in rotating rep, which means you do 3 shows, one after the other in the week, and then you repeat and do them all again. That is so much fun to have in your brain. After that experience, I went on tour with TheaterWorks USA, which is a theater company for children, and you put essentially your show in a van and you take it around the country and you perform for schools, most of which need more focus on the arts. So it was a real privilege to be able to go around the country and to give kids that experience. Some of them, some of our youngest students, it was the first show they'd ever seen. So bringing that around is really special. And we were doing Cergol, which was just so wonderful to bring to children. And then since then, I've been back in the city, hitting the bricks, going to auditions, little gigs here and there. And it's been a wild ride so far. I'm really looking forward to it continuing after all this is over.
Great. And Danny, I see that you've been working right here in Northport at the Engerman Theater. What have you been working on?
Yes. Well, I work on production at the Engerman. I wear a lot of hats there. Not much now because of COVID, but I was in the middle of teaching a lot of kids. That's one of the things I do there that I love very much. I love teaching kids, directing kids, assisting other directors, working with kids in the program because I was that kid just up the street and around the corner at the Northport Community Theater at the Laurel Avenue School. Not as fancy. So
that's where we all met.
Remember how lucky you are to have this facility. Yeah, I've been there for, it's just sort of, I take it one little project at a time, and, days turn to weeks, to months, to years. And I've been there for about 5 years now. The way it happened was I was at, after Northport High School and winning a Huntington Tony, I went to college too. I'm learning actually how different my experience was than Tom's. I was in Boston at the Boston Conservatory. And I had a lot more people in the class. I had about like 40 to 45 people. So it was pretty, it was much like New York. You're just running around with a lot of people, auditioning and working and taking classes with all different kinds of people. And I studied musical theater. It's not my life has gone more in an acting track. People think I'm funny, and sometimes they let me do musical comedy, so I'm grateful for that. But after that, I worked at Commonwealth Shakespeare Company, did some Shakespeare rep up there in Boston. I love that city. It's a great theater town. And when I came back to New York, it was sort of a practical thing for me to do because I'm from here. And they were like, hey, we need someone to work in the children's theater in the fall. And I was like, yeah, sure, like a job. Absolutely, sign me up. I did, and then they said, hey, we need a spotlight operator. So I ended up putting my tech skills to use, and then they needed a director for the camp. And so that's sort of how it all happened. And it was kind of a gift, a full circle gift. If you add that Huntington experience into the mix, it's how I got my equity card. It's an artistic home is what I call it. And I feel lucky as an actor to have that, because a lot of actors sort of, run around saying, just let me work anywhere in the country. And it's nice to, I've always been jealous of those actors in Chicago who have those ensemble theaters where they just sort of, they have a place to go home and to fail and to take risks. And it's been a real gift. And so that's what I've been up to.
So Danny, raising up and mentoring our child actors in the town of Huntington is really exciting. And I know we have a few here. I know Jennifer Casey's daughter, Emma. I don't know if you've worked with her, but can you name any rising stars in the field of child actors?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, there's so many. They're so gifted, and they all have just great heads, and they work really hard. My kids. I think Josh Mullers, I believe, is nominated this year. He's great. Ryan and Megan McInnes, Katie and Lizzie Dolce. Shane McGlone, Olivia Freiberger, Amelia Freiberger. Oh, so many wonderful, talented kids who I'm so proud of and I've seen grow up, and some of them and they get to work all year and hone their craft at a place after school, after they've had a long day, and they get to do what they love to do, and then they have an opportunity like the Huntingtonies, which was again, I'll jump. Tom was saying how wonderful they are. It's a nice thing. Even though it's not the Tony Awards, it feels like that to kids, because it's the first time they feel that this hobby, this thing that we do is not frivolous, and it matters. It's taken seriously.
I agree.
And they can really take it into their hands and go forth and do it, and I hope that a lot of those kids, I hope they look at me and say, yeah, look at him, he runs around and does it all and comes back here and helps us out, and so yeah.
Well, I think what Danny was saying too about like doing it all and being able to wear different hats is what I always say to any young person who wants to be in the business, because if you can wear multiple hats, and if you are a performer but you know how to run on the technical side of things, if you can be a dresser or if you can run spot, that's how you can maintain constantly working in the theater. Even when you're not performing, you can always find something to still be, as they say in that hit musical, in the room where it happens.
Yes.
And so that's what I always encourage people to do. Even like that. Tom has been an assistant for me on projects, not as a performer, but just as an assistant director.
Mm-hmm.
And you can learn so many ways. And, you know, one more kid shout out, but Zachary Podar is someone who I've worked with at the Engelman, who Danny put through the education program, and he was in the main stage production of Elf that I directed. And he was just in that Trevor musical that we were doing off Broadway before COVID happened. And so it's all stepping stones.
Interesting. Danny and Tom, now, have you ever worked together professionally?
Not professionally yet.
No.
And I have a feeling it might be the most unprofessional thing we would ever do.
I feel like which one of us would get fired first? I think we would start laughing.
Exactly. I love to make Danny laugh. It's one of my favorite things in the world. And Danny actually just makes me laugh just by laughing. So it's a lot of fun. We've not gotten to work together yet, but we do. I at least would really hope to do so in the future.
We've talked about it. I feel like we have things like down the road that we want to do, right? Like,
yeah, whatever happened to Baby Jane.
We want to do like a True West, Little Foxes. Yeah. Like we want to do like the Zoo Story, and
maybe like a really wimpy version of True West for sure.
We want to do one of those things. That'd be fun.
Oh, you guys are just so entertaining. So why don't we see a clip right now from the 2010 Huntingtonies, where the three of you performed Everybody Ought to Have a Maid from A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum.
Maids like me. I'm neat. I like maids. They're neat. Something no household should do without. Everybody ought to have a maid. Everybody ought to have a maid. Everybody ought to have a working girl. Everybody ought to have a lurking girl to putter around the house. Everybody ought to have a maid. Everybody ought to have a maid. Everybody ought to have a mean girl, consistently congenial and quieter than a mouse. Oh, wouldn't she be delicious, tidying up the dishes neat as a pin? Oh, wouldn't she be delightful, sweeping out, sleeping in? Everybody ought to have a maid. Everybody ought to have someone whom you hire when you're short of help, to offer you the sort of help you never get from a spouse. Cluttering up the bedroom, buttering up the master, puttering all around the house. Oh, wouldn't she be delicious, tidying up the dishes, neat as a pin? Oh, wouldn't she be delightful, sweeping out, sleeping in? Everybody ought to have a maid. Bet you your slipper will be winsome as a whippoorwill, and graceful as a grouse, skittering down the hallway, flittering through the parlor, tittering in the pantry, littering up the bedroom, hovering all around the house.
A maid,
A maid!
a maid. Everybody ought to have a maid. Everybody ought to have a serving girl, a loyal and unswerving girl who's kinder than a mouse. Oh, think of her at the dustbin, especially when she's just been traipsing about. Oh, wouldn't she be delightful living in?
Giving out.
Everybody ought to have a maid, tidily collecting bits of paper and strings, appealing in her apron strings, beguiling in her blouse, pattering through the attic,
Chattering in the cellar,
clattering in the kitchen,
fluttering in the bedroom,
puttering all around the house, the house, the house, the house. A maid, a maid, a maid. Everybody ought to have a maid. Someone who's efficient and reliable, obedient and pliable, who's smarter than a mouse. Oh, wouldn't she be so nimble, fiddling with her thimble, mending a gown? Oh, wouldn't she be delightful, cleaning up,
leaning down.
everybody ought to have a maid. Someone who'd be graceful as a bumblebee, and even if you're a bumblebee, as graceful as a mouse. Wriggling in the anteroom, tickling in the living room, giggling in the dining room,
Wiggling in the other rooms,
puttering all around the house.
Wow, that was terrific.
Ah,
It sure was, and it looks like you guys had a lot of fun with it.
yeah.
Do you remember what it was like performing that night?
Yes, it was the closest thing we've ever had to Madison Square Garden, I think, at the time. It was
I've
very
done
fun.
a show at Madison Square Garden, and it was nothing compared to that night. I
Nothing
will
like
say that
this.
much. It's nothing
It-
compared to the Huntington.
It was a wonderful exalt, and to be able to especially, I think that may have been the last time I was on stage with my brother. Maybe
That's it. Yeah, I think so.
maybe not officially, but in terms of like having gone through high school and performing together, getting to perform together one last time was very special, especially because Danny won that night. To me, at least,
I think I had just won, so there was already some like adrenaline. There was some feel good vibes. Like they were going to present choreography soon, which Maria Garvey and Jane Patterson ended up winning. They did such good work on that show with all those young high schoolers.
It was so fun.
It was
It was
silly.
great.
And I remember a lot of the performances up until that point actually were a little more they were so good. Some of those singers were just unbelievable. They were more like Park and Bark numbers and a little very suited for that stage. They took center stage and they sang and they were just like glowing. And we had this whole dance, and it was like we had it's the Engelman is actually a very small, tiny space. It's a very intimate theater, and a lot of us are on stage, sort of watching the performers do their thing. And we were like entering from like stage left and stage right. We were like, here we go.
Really
so it was great.
Well, it's great to reminisce and hear you reminisce, because I feel such a sense of loss this year that we're not going to have those performances. We're going to have this, effort to recognize the awards, and the plays in the spring obviously didn't happen. So I mean, so many milestones this year, whether it's graduations and other things aren't going to happen. This is one of them. It's a real loss for us, but it's we have some gratitude that you're here reminiscing about it, and that brings a little of the magic to us.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yes,
yeah. I was just going to say.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, the kids I see around the world, around this country, handling this time with such grace. I don't think I was already stressed out enough as a high school senior. I don't know if I could have had the grace that I've seen some of these kids have during this time. The way they are just taking everything as it comes, graduating on Zoom and doing, I mean, they are really, when they come out of this, and we're all going to come out of this on the other side, but when they do, I mean, they are going to be
rock stars.
They are going to be so smart, these kids, and they're going to have, like I said, they're going to have such good heads. It's amazing. Who knows? We're all going to experience them just shatter the world.
We really appreciate you guys doing this. This is really, really special. And the kids really do need to feel, they really need to feel seen. And this award show really does that for them. And the arts are routinely underrepresented in high schools, especially, when it comes to budgets and things like that. So, when we know the money's there, always. And I hope these children and their parents know that too. Money's always there. There's always time for the arts. It's the most special thing you can give kids that need to feel seen.
And look what's kind of kept us alive and hopeful during this crazy time.
The arts.
This stuff on TV and Netflix. It's the art. It's that which has given us, a way out of this craziness.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your cheerfulness, your encouraging words. I know it's going to mean a lot to those who are watching this, all who were a part of the Huntingtonies this year. And I was going to say earlier that the emotion that springs up from you that goes back 10 years really is testament to the fact of how meaningful that whole experience was for you. And it's such an honor for us to be here to talk to you. I can't thank you enough for joining us, and you really added something very special to this year. We lost something true, but we gained something in having you here with us today. So thank you.
Thank you. We'll be back for the 20th.
Yes, and we're looking forward to presenting these awards to these kids and saying these kids' names. It's just as thrilling for us on the other side. So very cool. Very cool. Thank you.
I think, Matt, you're going to intro the...
Yeah, and so, in light of the kind of world that's happened thus far and trying to instill kind of a hopefulness and make this award show as great as it could be, I've been reaching out to fellow alumni from Northport and Comac and Harborfield and John Glenn, students who've graduated and are in the business now who high schoolers might not know of. And so one of them, his name is Jakeem Hard, and he went to John Glenn. He graduated, I believe, in 2012. He's Tom's year. He was currently in the Broadway cast of Sing Street before the shutdown happened, and he'll be a part of that once they return, either in the fall or next year. But he'll be doing a little performance from what he did in the second annual Huntingtonies. He sang a song from Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, and he won an award that night as Best Male Vocalist. So he'll be reprising his role and song that he sang. And then we have other presenters and alumni of the Huntington Awards. Ashley Reyes, who won 2 awards, leading actress in a musical and leading actress in a play, who was in the Broadway production of The Play That Goes Wrong. And Kyle Timpson, who was on the national tour of Shrek the Musical and was just on the Les Mis national tour. And people like Angela Citrolo, who is not a performer necessarily anymore, but runs her own casting agency for film and TV. And then we'll have some kind of performers and playwrights in the business presenting awards as well. Dick Scanlon, who is a 3-time Tony nominee, he wrote Thoroughly Modern Millie, is going to present the award for Best Production of a Play. So we're trying to make this evening, though digitally, as incredible as it can possibly be.
Yeah, it's terrific. You really added something special to it, and we can't thank you enough for the addition of.
Leave it to Matt.
Oh yeah.
This has been so, this has been a great thing to work on in this time. I mean, I keep telling people, create art, because that's what lasts, and it will give you such an outlook on the world that we're in right now. So this has been just a wonderful thing to work on, and I'm excited for the future of the Huntington Awards. A lot of things that Michelle and I have been talking about to try and enhance all of this for the students, because that's what it always goes back to. How can we make this experience as great of an experience as we can for these students? So, yeah.
Yeah, how about a shout out to our executive producer, Michelle Martinez, and her team.
Yes.
Arlene Gross, who have helped overcome so many challenges as we've put this together, and to provide something that everybody can enjoy and remember.
Let's take a look back at Northport High School and see where they are 10 years later. Here's the entire cast from Northport High School performing a medley from Chicago.
Expensive things, cashmere coats, diamond rings, don't mean a thing. All I care about is fun. That's what I'm here for. I don't care for wearing silk cravats, ruby studs, satin spats, don't mean a thing. All I care about is love. After all
that was just wonderful. It's amazing to see theater thriving at Northport so many years later. I know Danny and Tom and I have so many incredible memories performing on that very stage and making some of the best friends for the rest of our lives. And now let's begin the 10th annual Hunting Tony Awards. First, let's do a recap of the plays presented this year.
Peter and the Starcatcher, presented by Cold Spring Harbor High School. Did you ever wonder what's the story behind the story about Peter Pan? How did the orphan Peter Pan become the boy who'd never grow up? Peter and the Starcatcher tells the backstory of Peter and all the beloved characters, from Wendy to Hook to Tinkerbell. This play's got everything, from fearsome pirates to deep dark jungles, and explores the opposing themes of greed and despair with love, friendship, and responsibility.
Romeo and Juliet, presented by Comac High School. This timeless tale of the warring Montague and Capulet families portends a doomed destiny for the star-crossed young lovers. One of Shakespeare's most beloved tragedies, Romeo and Juliet, features some of the world's most memorable literary lines, from "Parting is such sweet sorrow" to "Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo?"
The Good Doctor, presented by Hef Hollow Hills East High School. Neil Simon meets Anton Chekhov in this charming comedy where Simon, the master playwright of Human Foibles, and Foley takes on stories of the acclaimed Russian writer. Set in the turn of the 20th century Russia, the bittersweet comedy depicts a writer sharing scenes from his life, featuring an interesting array of characters from his family, friends, and childhood.
Almost Maine, presented by Half Hollow Hills West High School. Inspired by the mystical energy of the colorful Aurora Borealis, or Northern Lights, John Cariani's play Almost Maine is a group of 9 loosely connected short plays that explore love and loss in a remote mythical town called Almost Maine. Premiering to critical acclaim at the Portland Stage Company in 2004, the play broke box office records at that Portland theater.
Arsenic and Old Lace, presented by Harbor Fields High School. An American classic written in 1939, Arsenic and Old Lace became well known through the film adaptation starring Cary Grant and directed by Frank Capra. This delightful comedy tells the story of Mortimer Brewster, a confirmed bachelor who finally falls in love and marries the girl next door. When he returns home to share the news of his recent nuptials with his eccentric aunts, he makes an alarming discovery: a corpse hidden in the window seat. As the action unfolds, Brewster begins to realize that his family members are not as innocent as he's always believed.
Harvey, presented by Huntington High School. Harvey tells the story of Elwood P. Dowd, who seems the perfect gentleman, and his relationship with his very best friend, Harvey. Harvey is 6 feet tall. He also happens to be invisible and a rabbit. Written in 1944 by American playwright Mary Chase, Harvey received the Pulitzer Prize for drama and has been adapted for film and television, most notably in a 1950 film starring James Stewart and Josephine Hull.
Clue, presented by Walt Whitman High School. Inspired by the beloved Hasbro board game of the same name, Clue takes us to a dinner party where the hosts turn up dead. With murder and mayhem on the menu, Clue is raucous, rollicking, rip-roaring fun. As the action unfolds, the 6 guests try to figure out who did it, how, and where. Was it Mr. Mustard in the library with a candlestick, or Professor Plum in the conservatory with a rope?
Now I think it's time to get to the part of the show everyone's been waiting for, the awards.
First up is the award for stage crew. The nominees for Best Stage Crew for a play are Comac High School for Romeo and Juliet, Harborfields High School for Arsenic and Old Lace, Huntington High School for Harvey, and Walt Whitman High School for Clue. And the Hunting Tony goes to Huntington High School for Harvey.
I would just like to say thank you for this award. First of all, I would like to thank my president and vice president, who were not here today, Olivia Prez and Sienna Batts. They helped me so much with this, and they did so much. So I just wanted to thank them first. I also wanted to thank my director, Michael Schwendeman. He made us kept rehearsing our set change every time, until we got it under a minute. And that was such a big thing. I would also like to thank Eric Reynolds, the director of Fine and Performing Arts at our school. He's helped us so much by supporting or cheering us on or just being there for us. I would also like to thank all the students at the stage crew, that it wouldn't be possible if they weren't there. There was so much going on with Niz Game the week before, and it wouldn't have been a great show without all of them. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Next, we have the award for Best Set Design. The nominees for Best Set Design for a play are Cold Spring Harbor for Peter and the Starcatcher, Half Hollow Hills for Almost Maine, Harbor Fields for Arsenic and Old Lace, and Huntington for Harvey. And the Huntingtony goes to Cold Spring Harbor High School for Peter and the Starcatcher.
Yay! Wonderful. Congratulations to the winner, and thank you to the other nominees.
Thank you so much. From the cast of Peter and the Starcatcher, we would like to thank our director, Mark Beja, and our PAC staff, JT and Yuri. We'd also like to thank all of our CSH students for helping paint our set. This year, we built a playground on the set with slides, a rock wall, ladders, a rope climb, and a pirate ship wheel. And the set design really brought our show to life, and it made performing even more fun than it already is. And our director also decided this year to do a black box style show, which we built out the stage and brought the audience onto the stage with us. This created a face-to-face experience and a performance that I will never forget. And it was a beautiful set, and we just like to thank everyone at CSH for involving, and the cast and the crew and everyone, because it was an amazing show. And thank you so much to all of you guys for making this possible. It was just amazing. Thank you.
Because of the coronavirus outbreak, most of the musicals were canceled this spring, so we had to limit this year's awards to plays only.
Yes, Mark, we can't imagine how bad everyone feels about that. Students pour their hearts and souls into these productions, and so many students, families, and community members were very disappointed to learn these shows that they were looking forward to all year long would be canceled.
So to try and make it up to them, we have a special treat for you. Performances from 3 high school musicals that were slated for this spring.
Yes, here's a Tony caliber performance of Thank You for the Music from Mamma Mia, performed by Maya Penzer from Half Hollow Hills High School East.
I'm nothing special, in fact, I'm a bit of a bore. When I tell a joke, you've probably heard it before. I have a talent, a wonderful thing, 'cause everyone listens when I start to sing. I'm so grateful and proud. All I want is to sing it out loud, so
That was a wonderful, wonderful performance. And now back to the awards. Our next award is for technical production. And the nominees for Best Technical Production for a play are Cold Spring Harbor for Peter and the Starcatcher, Half Hollow Hills East for The Good Doctor, Half Hollow Hills West for Almost Maine, and Walt Whitman for Clue. And the Huntington goes to Half Hollow Hills High School East for The Good Doctor. Marvelous. Thank you to all the other nominees, and congratulations to Half Hollow High School East.
On behalf of everyone at Hills East, I would like to thank our wonderful director, Tori Ramirez, our set designer and constructor, Vicky Ramirez, Ashlyn Costello Ramirez for our amazing lights, our amazing sound crew, Miss Benstock for her help with our student-run pit, Dr. Lilla, along with our stage managers, our cast, crew, and pit, the custodial and security staff, and to Dr. Strong and all the supportive administration of Half Hollow Hills. And finally, we would like to thank the wonderful people at the Huntingtonies for still recognizing the achievements and talents of school during this trying time.
Our next award is for costumes. The nominees for Best Costumes in a Play are Comac for Romeo and Juliet, Half Hollow Hills for Almost Maine, Harborfields for Arsenic and Old Lace, and Huntington for Harvey. And the Huntington winner is Comac High School for Romeo and Juliet.
I wasn't expecting this, and quite frankly, I didn't have anything prepared because I wasn't ready to accept this, but it's such an honor to be accepting this award in the name of Comac. It's been a pleasure working with the cast and the crew and Mrs. Connor for the past 4 years, as well as Mrs. Maniello, and I'm really proud of all the hard work that was put into this production. It was honestly one of the best I've seen, and congrats to all the other nominees, and thank you so much.
We're back with more 2020 Huntington Awards. These next two awards will be presented by more former Huntington winners who are now Broadway luminaries in their own right.
Presenting the award for Best Ensemble in a Play, we have with us Kyle Timpson. A graduate of Harborfields High School, Kyle won the 2011 Huntington for Best Male Vocalist, and he has toured the country performing in the national productions of Les Mis and Shrek the Musical.
Hi, Kyle Timpson here, proud graduate of Harborfields High School, class of 2011. Currently, what I'm up to is waiting out this virus like everyone else, I suppose. But before then, I was on the national tour of Les Miserables. High school theater was really important to me. I didn't exactly know what I wanted to do or what I wanted to be when I grew up until I decided to give musical theater a try. My freshman year, we did Guys and Dolls. And doing that was a huge, huge influence in the rest of my high school days, and then what I decided to do in college, and so on and so on. Really important. I'm so sorry that we're doing this all online. The Huntingtonies, when were around, they started when I was in high school, which seems like a million years ago. And they were awesome, and we did them at the John Engelman Theater, and it was just so fun to get dressed up and to see all the other kids from all the other high schools perform. And I know that we're going to be doing video performances and stuff, so that's cool, but I'm sorry that we don't get to do the full thing. Shout out to Harborfields High School. I hear you guys are doing a performance from Shrek. I hope you guys let your freak flag fly. It's one of my favorites, and I hope you enjoy. All right. We are doing the Huntington for Best Ensemble in a Play. The nominees are Cold Spring Harbor for Peter and the Starcatcher, Half Hollow Hills High School West for Almost Maine, Harborfields High School, whoop whoop, sorry, I'm biased, for Arsenic and Old Lace, and Walt Whitman High School for Clue. And the Huntington goes to Walt Whitman High School for Clue. Congratulations, guys. Enjoy your time with this award show. I bet it's going to be so fun. And I hope that I can attend a real Huntington soon. I hope everyone stays safe and enjoy the rest of the award show. Bye-bye.
Wow, we are beyond grateful to get this award for our production of Clue. I want to thank our director, Turner, our costume organizers, our stage crew, our prop holders, and ultimately our cast and their parents for supporting the theatrical arts. This was an amazing show to put on, and through our teamwork, I'd say we succeeded gratefully. Thank you again for this prestigious honor.
And we have another performance from Olivia Freiberger of Harborfields High School performing I Know It's Today from Shrek the Musical.
There's a princess, nanny princess. Take your pick, they're all like me. Not exactly, I'm still waiting. They're out living happily. Ever after, better get here. I want love in seconds flat. No one needs these middle bits. Oops, did I do that? Cut the villains, cut the vamping, cut this fairy tale, cut the peril and the pitfalls, cut the puppet and the whale, cut the monsters, cut the curses, keep the intro, cut the verses, and the waiting, the waiting, the waiting, the waiting, the waiting. But I know he'll appear, though I seem a bit bipolar. And I'm a vandal now as well. Hope you won't mind. I'm fine. I'm a catch and a very gifted bowler. It won't be long now, I guarantee. Day number. Are you there, God? It's me, Fiona. It's me, Fiona. Now I know he'll appear, 'cause there are rules and there are strictures. I believe the storybooks I read by candlelight. My white knight, my knight on a steed, will look just like these pictures. It won't be long now, I guarantee. Day number 8,423. I know it's today. Ooh, I know it's today. Ooh, I know it's today. I know it's today.
For our next award, we have Danny Meglio to present the award for Best Supporting Actor in a Play. Danny won the Huntington Tony for Best Supporting Actor in a Musical at our very first Huntington Tony show in 2011.
That's right. Yes, and I still have it. And I hear they're bigger now. So I want an upgrade. No, I'm kidding. I'll keep it. Let's get to it. Okay. All right. The nominees for Best Supporting Actor in a Play. This is a very special category for me. Are Zach Bernardo of Cold Spring Harbor for his portrayal of Alf in Peter and the Starcatcher. Caleb Foreman of Harborfields for Teddy Brewster in Arsenic and Old Lace. Brendan Kispert of Walt Whitman for Mr. Green in Clue. Lucas Madrid of Half Hollow Hills West for Dave in Almost Maine. And David Mastroianni of Comac for Mercutio in Romeo and Juliet. And the Huntington Tony goes to an envelope here. Envelope, please. Goes to David Mastroianni of Comac for his portrayal of Mercutio in Romeo and Juliet. Right.
So, wow, thank you so much for this honor. While playing the role of Mercutio, I found myself facing all new types of challenges, like obviously memorizing Shakespeare, which was so hard, or stage combat, or dying on stage. And they were all things that I've never really done before. So this role really taught me that as scary and as new as things may seem, with a little hard work, you can obviously do more than you can imagine. I would like to thank Mrs. Connor, our director, her husband, for choreographing all the sword fights, as well as Mrs. Adamo and Mr. Patterson and the rest of the cast and production team. So yeah, thank you.
To present the award for Best Supporting Actress in a Play is an alumna of Northport High School, Angela Citrola. Angela won a Huntington Tony in 2012 for lead actress in a play. She owns a New York City-based casting company, Citrola Casting, where she works with TV and movie producers to cast new projects. One of her projects included casting for the Amazon hit, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Hi all, my name is Angela Citrola. I went to Northport High School and graduated in 2012. I was a big participant in the theater community in Northport, as well as the winner of a Huntington Tony in, I think, 2012. I'd have to look. But I won for The Laramie Project for Best Actress. An amazing experience, something I will never ever forget. You know, the theater community was my chosen family, and I built so many incredible friendships that I have to this day. I currently own and I am the casting director at Citrola Casting in New York City. We work on a bunch of movies, commercials, all different types of projects. And without the community that I built in high school, I inevitably would not be here now. I really learned how to value my relationships. I learned the fundamentals of everything about the business. The most important being that your connections are everything. And that being said, I know right now a lot of you, your senior year, your junior year, sophomore year was cut short, and it can be really frustrating. And I know that a lot of you didn't get to participate in all of the productions that your school was supposed to have. It can feel like your opportunities are being limited. To that, I want to say, remind yourself that you're human and there's only so much that you can control. Look to the people who have built this industry before us, who took their pain, who took their times of hardship and turned it into beautiful art. Remember that art, theater holds a mirror to the rest of the world to show us and tell us stories that we can relate to. So take this time to be human and decide what stories you're going to tell when you come back. Without further ado, I would love to present the nominees for Best Supporting Actress in a Play. Natalie Ciccone of Huntington for Ruth Kelly RN in Harvey. Naomi Clark of Comac for the nurse in Romeo and Juliet. Julia DeVolio of Half Hollow Hills West as Marvelyn in Almost Maine. Haley Elberg of Half Hollow Hills East as multiple roles in The Good Doctor. Eva Pouquet of Harbor Fields as Elaine Harper in Arsenic and Old Lace. And the winner is Julia DeVolio of Half Hollow Hills West as Marvelyn in Almost Maine. Congratulations.
Hey, well, I'm very excited to be receiving this award, and I just want to thank all of you because I think this is such a great thing that everyone's involved in. This is my first year at High School West. I'm a junior, but it's my first year here, and I'd really specifically like to thank Ms. Iavolo for just being so welcoming and supportive of me because I was really nervous, to join a whole new theater program with all new people, and everyone was so supportive and kind. And the theater community is one of the most welcoming, and I'm just so glad to be a part of a group of such special people. So I'm very excited. I'd like to thank my parents and everyone who supports me in my theater journey. So thank you all so much, and I'm really glad to receive this award.
For our final performance, here's a rousing rendition of My Own Best Friend from Chicago, performed by Alexa Speciale and Sofia Safante from Comac High School.
One thing I know, and I've always known, I am my own best friend. Baby's alive, but baby's alone, and baby's her own best friend. Many's the guy who told me he cares, but they were scratching my back 'cause I was scratching theirs. trusting to luck.
Trusting to luck.
That's only for
That's only for fools.
I played a
And
game
where I make the rules. And rule number one, from here to the end, is I am my own best friend. Three musketeers who never say die are standing here this minute. Me, myself, and I. If life is a school, I'll pass every test. If life is a game, I'll play with the best. 'Cause I won't give in, and I'll never bend. And I am my own best friend.
That was wonderful. Let's give all these fabulous vocalists a well-deserved, rousing round of applause for these truly superb musical performances.
And now, to present the award for lead actor in a play is Tom Meglio. Tom won a Huntington Tony in 2012 for lead actor in a play. Since then, Tom has starred in national tours of Seussical the Musical and The Magic School Bus.
The nominees for Best Lead Actor in a Play are Christopher Goldblatt from Half Hollow Hills East High School as the narrator in The Good Doctor, Joseph Interrante of Harborfields High School as Mortimer Brewster in Arsenic and Old Lace, Liam Leary of Harborfields High School as Jonathan Brewster in Arsenic and Old Lace, Keenan Lyons of Huntington High School as Elwood P. Dowd in Harvey, and Josh Mullers of Walt Whitman High School as Wadsworth in Clue. And the Huntington Award goes to Joseph Interrante of Harborfields High School for Mortimer Brewster in Arsenic and Old Lace.
Woo!
Congratulations.
Thank you. This is so incredible. Thank you so much. I want to start off by thanking my family and the cast and crew of the show. It was absolutely a phenomenal show. And I know that our season was cut short, unfortunately, but ending the year on such a high note with an amazing 2 nights and an amazing director and his last show that he's ever going to be doing with a high school as well. It makes me feel really special to be accepting this award on behalf of my entire group of friends and castmates that made it possible. Thank you so much.
Presenting the award for lead actress in play is Ashley Reyes, a Comac alumna. Ashley actually won 2 Huntington Tonys, her first in 2012 for lead actress in a musical, and then in 2013 for lead actress in a play. Ashley has starred in both Broadway and off-Broadway productions of the hilarious farce, The Play That Goes Wrong.
Hello, Huntington Awards! My name is Ashley Reyes. I went to Comac High School. I graduated in 2013. I won Best Leading Actress in a Musical in 2012 and Best Leading Actress in a Play in 2013. After graduating from college, I did The Play That Goes Wrong on Broadway for 2 years, and I've just finished filming my first TV show for the past 8 months, which is American Gods on the Stars. So it's been crazy. High school theater really prepared me for the industry, though, because it taught me how to become part of a community and how to work with people and to never lose sight of the play and the fun that you have during high school theater, and just to be really passionate. And the things that you learn there whether you become an actor or not, you can take with you for the rest of your life. So, without further ado, the nominees for Best Leading Actress in a Play are Julia Bavaro of Cold Spring Harbor as Molly Astor in Peter and the Starcatcher. Pamela Carey of Walt Whitman as Miss Scarlet in Clue. Nell DiGillo of Harbor Fields as Abby Brewster in Arsenic and Old Lace. Juliana Sgraglio of Walt Whitman as Miss Peacock in Clue. And Skya Theobald of Harbor Fields as Martha Brewster in Arsenic and Old Lace. And the winner is Nell DiGillo of Harbor Fields. Woo! Congratulations to all the nominees.
Thank you to the town of Huntington for this tremendous honor. I cannot accept this award without thanking everyone at HF. Our incredible director, Mr. Incorvia. Thank you, Sherry, for our beautiful costumes. Thank you to the hilarious, talented cast of Arsenic and Old Lace. Thank you to the dedicated crew of Arsenic for our beautiful set and lighting and for all the work that you put in behind the scenes. With all that's going on right now in the world, in our country, we want to encourage everyone to continue to support each other now through this difficult time. The theater community thrives when we are able to come together and create something that inspires and uplifts others. Not being able to do that now is extremely painful, but this community is also resilient, and it is that resilience that will ultimately see us through these difficult times. I can't wait until we are all able to perform again, to uplift others with our art again. But until that day comes, I urge you all to continue the fight against racial inequality and continue to stay safe and healthy. Thank you.
And finally, presenting the award for this year's Best Play, we are honored to have with us Dick Scanlon. Dick is a 3-time Tony-nominated playwright and lyricist of the hit shows Thoroughly Modern Millie, Everyday Rapture, and the unsinkable Molly Brown.
Hi, I'm writer-director Dick Scanlon, lyricist and librettist of the Tony Award-winning Best Musical Thoroughly Modern Millie, and co-author of the Tony-nominated musical Everyday Rapture and many other projects. When I think about my experiences in high school theater outside Washington, D.C., I think of my best friend, Tony Award-winning director Michael Mayer. We met when we were 15 years old and very involved in our respective high schools' theater programs. Our high schools were very near each other. Since that time, we've done so many projects together as author and director, and even as co-directors. We always say it's just like the high school show. The joy we feel, the stress, the anxiety, the elation, the night an audience first sees the show, none of that changes. So the lessons you're learning now are invaluable, and the experiences you're having now, you'll have for the rest of your career. If I could give you one piece of advice that I wish someone had given me that I didn't have to learn over the years is always stay on your own team, or always stay in your own lifeboat. Even when nobody else is believing in you, as long as you keep believing in yourself, there's at least one person who does, because the moment you stop, then there's nobody fighting for your cause. So even when the chips are down, even when you aren't performing at your best and you can't access your gifts as readily as you'd like, keep believing in yourself and trust that it's all a process, and that sometimes part of the process is foundering before you find your footing again. I'm really honored to be presenting the 2020 10th Anniversary Huntington Award for Best Production of a Play. Here are the nominees for Best Production of a Play. Romeo and Juliet, presented by Comac High School. Almost Maine, presented by Half Hollow Hills West High School. Arsenic and Old Lace, presented by Harbor Fields High School. And Clue, presented by Walt Whitman High School. And the winners are, because we have a tie, Almost Maine, Half Hollow Hills West High School, and Arsenic and Old Lace, Harbor Fields High School. Congratulations to the winners, congratulations to all the nominees, and best of luck to all of you in your future endeavors in the theater.
Thank you so much. This is so great. On behalf of Harbor Fields, I'd love to thank our incredible cast and crew, our dream crew actually, and our incredible director, Mr. Incorvia. Thank you so much. This show was a great time to work on, and every second was so much fun.
Thank you so much. I have to say, at the beginning of this year, none of us knew what was coming. And at High School West, we give our all in every performance. But for us seniors, we had no idea that this would be our high school theater send-off. I'm so grateful to all of the staff that helped us put on Almost Maine, Miss Iavolo, happy birthday, Mr. Raschuti, Miss Curry, Mr. D, John Carolyn, Miss Keller, Miss O'Grady, as well as our wonderfully talented and dedicated cast and crew. This show required a lot of partner work and practice for each individual cast member, and I am personally so proud of this show. Huge thank you to everyone.
Well, that was an exciting way to wrap up our 10th annual and first ever Zoom Huntingtonian Awards. Congratulations to the 2020 Huntingtonian winners and all the nominees. To all the winners, we are going to be getting you your bigger and better Huntington Tony trophies as soon as possible. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, we are. And thanks to all the Broadway stars, including our 3 co-hosts, Matt, Danny, and Tom, and the students who performed specially for our show. Thank you so much for letting us be a part of this.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for letting us be a part of it.
It's really great. Thank you.
And that's a wrap for the 2020 Huntingtonies. See you next year in person on the red carpet.